a treasure hunt to find ourselves, the process of creating a little bit of separation between spirit and the body so we can perceive reality as it is. Right? When we say, I hate that person, or curse somebody, or just say something that's ugly or just not life giving, we change the chemical structure of that person. And what we expose ourselves to changes our chemical structure. If we watch a lot of violent TV, that changes our chemical structure.
Yeah, but at our soul, what does that really mean? I think that's an interesting line of thought. You know, and just because I channel a lot of masculine energy doesn't mean I can't be very nurturing.
That's exactly right. And that's the balance that we were talking about earlier. A father can still be nurturing, and a mother can still. You ever get between a female animal and their pups, between a bear and their pups? That female is not going to be not going to be motherly, not going to be what's the word I'm looking for, Elise?
Oh, the word is escaping me, but I've told you about my daughter spending a lot of time in Children's Hospital.
Yes.
Yes. Well, there were. I have a chart at Children's Hospital because I dressed down so many doctors for not taking care of my baby the way I felt like they should have. So yes, don't get in between a mother and her child.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
She will flat go after you.
Right. And that's male fire energy.
Very.
Right? So we all have that. Okay, so back to, so we've got strong.
Oh, back to your signature.
Back to my signature. We went far afield. Surprise, surprise. And then the next thing that I love is from Costa Rica, the Pura Vida. And Pura Vida means pure life. And I think we all ought to live a strong, pure life. And then the Namaste. And that is the divine in me honors the divine in you. And so that's how I sign most of my text, because somebody tells me something strong, live a pure life, and I honor you.
Thank you for explaining that.
You're welcome. I thought I did already.
No.
I think you forgot.
Oh, well, that's entirely possible.
And it's entirely possible I could have just thought I told you. So we'll leave it. We'll leave that at that, right?
You have another quote in your book that I really like. It's something about every cell in the body will continue to perform the functions for which it was designed throughout its entire life cycle, provided the environment remains congenial to it.
That's actually not in my book, but it is in one of my recent stories. And that is out of a book that was copyrighted in like early 1900s. Like 1928 or something like that. And it's a book about the body. And this dude goes into a lot of the basic stuff that we all understand. Like he's got sunbathing in there and all type of stuff. But read it to us one more time, please.
Every cell in the body will continue to perform the functions for which it was designed throughout its entire life cycle, provided its environment remains congenial to it.
Okay. So if you really if you could think about this on a larger scale, you and I and Kelly over there on the other side of the monitor who's doing all this background work for us, we're really all cells in this big universal body. Okay. We happen to be living on Mother Gaia, and she's built of cells. All the plants are built of cells. You know, this whole universe is one big living organism, okay? And what this doctor was saying is that if a cell is in a congenial environment, okay, in an environment that is life-giving, okay, in an environment that's not harsh, in an environment that promotes life, and whatever it is for that cell at that time, okay, then that cell will become and does its natural function, okay? So if we have kids and the environment that we create for them is not congenial, then they will struggle to live and be who they are. If you're a teacher and you are like just cramming stuff down people's heads, that's not a congenial environment for learning. The word education comes from the word educe, and educe means to pull out of. So all education at some level is pulling out the wisdom, the knowledge, and the love that is already inherent in us. Now, some of the knowledge is obviously skill sets that are specific to this world, okay? But in a congenial teaching environment, the teacher is not like lording all this information over people. They're trying to pull out the inherent wisdom and knowledge that's already inside of the person. So, it's like if you're going to go say something to somebody and they know that you're going to judge you, you won't tell them.
That's the truth.
Right. Okay. If you're a child and you know you're not supposed to take cookies out of the cookie jar, okay?
I'm not going to admit to it.
We're not going to admit to it, even though when your father or mother walks in the room and they see that there's crumbs on the counter and then you've got a little bit of chocolate chip over here in the corner of your mouth, okay? They know, okay? But you were told not to take cookies, so you're not going to admit to that, right? So that is a non-congenial environment for growth.
That's the truth.
Exactly. And so a lot of people come to me and they tell me things because I'm a congenial environment for most people. And for the most part, I'm not going to say never, I lack judgment because people are going to do what people do, okay? And that, and we could talk about creating space, okay? But allowing people to be who they are without judgment creates a space for them to learn and grow, okay? That doesn't mean that you might not say, hey, that action that you took that you're telling me about, do you feel like that brought you the desired outcome? Was that in your highest self-interest? Was that in the highest self-interest of you and your interaction with your friend? And it's not like, why'd you say that? That's fucking stupid. Why would you do something like that? Okay. So that's the difference between judging and holding space open. And I think I want to jump into forgiveness because I had a real revelation a couple weeks ago about forgiveness. And 4 means like to give into the future. 4, F-O-R-E, the front of a boat, okay? Before you hit a golf ball into a group of people, you yell 4. It's a recognition that something's coming in advance, okay? So when we talk about God forgiving us, God has given us the space to create and make decisions inside of this world. And so he has given us that space and without judgment and without condemnation, okay, in advance. He has given us this space in advance. So we are already forgiven for everything that we do that's not life-giving, okay? And that gets, this is kind of not what most religions will teach you.
No.
Okay.
And that argues for Earth as a playground versus Earth as a prison.
Yes. I want to finish forgiveness, but
Please do.
But let's go back to that.
Because I like where you're going with this.
Yeah, it took me a while to get here, and if you read my story, it's probably better than me telling you. But something happened to me where I was deeply hurt, and I was really angry. But then after I had to sit in the cemetery and meditate for 6 hours one day to get through this, which I do meditate in the cemetery, and I love to meditate in the cemetery because usually nobody's there. It's quiet. There's birds. There's trees. And you can, anytime you want to call your ancestors in or anybody on the other side, I call my mom in, my grandfather, my grandmother, the saints, the angels. I call in, St. Clair, my Clarity Fairy, and I call her in and I open up my crown chakra and I ask my Clarity Fairy, St. Clair, to come in and rewire my synapses in my brain to be higher thinking. I also ask Archangel Michael to come in. I call him Master Blaster because people can connect into your energy and drain you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I continually clean myself off. And so I ask, if I do it, I'll do it here for a second. Okay, I'm just going to do that for a second. But I asked Master Blaster to come in, and that's from the, what's the Mel Gibson series? Where he's in the desert, and the apocalyptic series is Mad Max. Thank you. That's Master Blaster's from the Mad Max movie, right? But I asked Archangel Michael to come in, Master Blaster, and pop these cords of where people are sucking energy out of you. And this, you don't even realize the amount of people that are attached to you and to whoever. They suck your energy out of you. And it's not intentional, but we all support each other in an energetic way. But attaching to somebody is not healthy. So you have to unattach and clean yourself off all the time. And so Master Blaster pops those. And when I do that, I feel shivers go down my spine. But where was I going with all that?
You were talking about forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Okay. So, and then I'm going to finish that. Then remind me that I was going to talk about forgiveness. The appropriate way to energetically allow somebody into your space is through your heart space. And so they're not attached. It's just that you're allowing your heart energy to go out to them. Okay. As opposed to them like sucking your energy dry. So forgiveness. So I was sitting in the cemetery for 6 hours meditating one day. I realized that this person had done this thing, and I probably had blown a little out of proportion, but there was a lot of pain involved. And then I thought, I started thinking about this forgiveness thing, and I'm like, I'm just thinking about just pushing this person completely out of my life because I just was tired. then I said, but is that highest good? And I said, no, that's not highest good. But then I felt like I needed to forgive them. But then I started thinking about this forgiveness thing, and it came to me that in advance, God gives us this space to create and to do whatever we need to do. And I thought, well, if God can do that for me, then I should allow that space for that person, because people do what people do, okay? And that is the way life works. And if we get all wound up in a ball because people don't act like we think they should act, even if it's not whole and healthy, it's still the way they act. It's still the way I act. I don't always act out of wholeness and healthiness. I try, but that's an ongoing process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, yes, I can hold that space. I can give them that space to be who they're going to be. And then I started thinking about, what if they come and ask me for forgiveness? Okay. And then I thought, there's no reason for me to ever forgive anybody, because if I just allow them to have the space that they need, that is the forgiveness. And if they have to ask me for forgiveness, not have to ask me, they feel the need to ask me for forgiveness, it's already forgiven. And really, at that point in time, what they're really asking for, even if they don't know it, even if we don't know it, is we're asking to forgive ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when we can forgive ourselves, and we know that it's okay to make mistakes, then living this life gets a lot easier and a lot more pure, because we have to forgive ourselves, because we're not perfect, but we're not supposed to be fucking perfect. This
Goodness.
is our playground.
Mm-hmm.
This is our school. Okay? So that's, I think, the whole forgiveness thing.
Gotcha. You talk sometimes about when we judge other people, we're judging ourselves.
Yeah.
And when we can't forgive them, maybe we can't forgive ourselves.
That's exactly right. That's judgment.
Yeah.
Usually when we're judging other people, it's because we haven't forgiven ourselves, and we're still judging ourselves. When we stop judging ourselves, we'll stop judging other people, because judgment puts you in a different boat than me,
It's declaring you other.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's creating a duality.
Yep.
Okay? But even though we're separate entities, there really is no duality. I mean, there is duality, but there's not duality. It's like, my church is the one and only church, and if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, then, you're going to burn in hell, or your soul's not going to be saved, or whatever. Jesus never taught anything.
Whatever.
Jesus never taught anything like that. But that's judgment. That's like, if you don't believe how I believe,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's judgment, okay? But that's not healthy. We all know that's not healthy. We just forget. And that's the other thing. On this journey, one of the pieces of scripture that I love is, do not conform yourself to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that you may know the holy, perfect will of God. Okay? So we come into this world, we get the mud slapped on us, okay? And the only way to get the mud off is through awareness. It's through renewing, making our minds. Renewing our minds, renewing means to make our minds new again. Okay? And when we can make our minds new again in this process of this spiritual walk, this walk of subtraction, then our mind becomes Christ-like or God-like. And remembering is putting our members back together, our pieces back together. I love to break words down, recreation, vacation, remember, renew, all these words. I've got, you know what?
Have fun with words.
Yes. I do have a little, got a little dictionary in the back of my book. When we don't choose wholeness, we adulterate ourselves, which means rendering ourselves poorer in quality. Something that's unadulterated is not diluted. It maintains its true self. It's whole and holy in its purest form. It's childlike. Communion is common union. It's a shared union. Let's see, what else? Devil, lived spelled backwards. Enculturation. We get enculturated in our culture, right?
Oh, that's an interesting word. Enculturated.
I didn't even know I had enlightenment in here.
That means we got lots of mud swept all over us.
Exactly. That's exactly what it means. And we have to look at that. Enlightenment, the continual awakening of ourselves to the full spectrum of our divinity, the process of uncovering and experiencing our divinity, the process of revealing the light that we are made of, releasing any adulteration, because that's what happens to us when we come into the world. We get adulterated. Mm-hmm. Okay? Releasing any adulteration, evil, labels, or enculturation, peeling back the layers so we vibrate at the highest possible level, subtracting our false self and acknowledging our true self, a treasure hunt to find ourselves, the process of creating a little bit of separation between the spirit and the body so we can perceive reality as it is. And I do love this too, and that is humble. When we're humble, we are power under control. Humble people understand what's going on, and their power is under control. And humble people are powerful people. So, let's see if there's any other words in here I need to know.
I would offer that humble people don't need to declare their power out loud. They don't need you to know that they're powerful.
Exactly.
And I think that's beautiful.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I read something the other day. Maybe it was from Game of Thrones. It was a quote from somewhere. And it was about maybe a new king, a fresh king. And his father had turned the kingdom over to him. And he was screaming, you're doing this because I'm the king.
Oh.
And I am the king. And the father looked at him and says, if you have to scream, you are the king.
You are not.
You're not the king. And I'm sure somebody will know what that is.
Bill, you talk about us being energetic beings in an energetic cosmos. And I think that's a fascinating topic.
It is a fascinating topic. I have one chapter in the book on that. And I think you could easily write a whole book on that.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple things there. I love using Jesus, or as I refer to him in the book, as Yeshua, which is, I think, the way they would have pronounced that at that time. But kind of getting back into being a master of your energy. Mm-hmm. There's the story in the Bible where Jesus is walking through the crowd and his disciples are all around him and the crowd is all around him.
Like they're being bodyguards.
Yes, the disciples are being bodyguards, kind of keeping the crowd off a little bit, but people are in throngs all around him, right? And he's walking. And they want to see this prophet, this man who, can do miracles. And so there was a lady who had some type of bleeding disorder, and she had been to many doctors. And she said to herself, if I can just touch Jesus' cloak, that I could be healed. Now, the beautiful part of that story, there's a lot of beautiful pieces to that story, but one of the beautiful parts of that story is that she had faith, okay? And faith is a critical thing. It's almost kind of like forgiveness. It's that preconception that if I do this or if I stay in alignment, that this other beautiful thing will happen, okay? And often in this world, we lose faith and hope. But so she in her mind says, if I can just touch Jesus' cloak, okay? And so she does. She reaches out in this throng of people and with the disciples all around him trying to kind of guard him, and she touches his cloak. And Jesus stops, and he says to his disciples, who touched me? And the disciples say, Lord, what do you mean who touched you? We're all around you. Everybody's all around you. And he says, I felt the energy run from me. Now that is a master of energy. Okay?
I had chill bumps.
Such a beautiful story.
It is.
And she got healed. Okay. She had faith. She touched him. Jesus' energy his healing energy ran from him to her. And so we don't think about, every single thing in this realm that we live in, and probably in the whole universe, everything is vibrating. We've scientifically, and there's an article in the book referencing, I think, Scientific American or something that says something like the hippies were right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything vibrates. And there was Dr. Emoto. I think his name is pronounced Emoto. I think he's from Japan. And he started studying water. And he sampled water that was pure, sampled water that was polluted, sampled all type of different waters. And he would take a glass of water and he would have like signs or people literally say, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And then he would have water that that people would say, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then he would look at the crystalline structure of the water. And the crystalline structure of the water changes. It looks pure, and the crystalline structure is beautiful and symmetric when you say, I love you. But when you say, I hate you, the structure gets chaotic, non-symmetric. And
I've looked at those photos. They're dramatic.
Yeah, you can look them up on YouTube, and I think I've got drawings of the photos in my book, but you can look at the actual photos on YouTube or on the internet. But now think about this, and we didn't really talk about the body much, and I did make a reference to that we all come from stardust, but our bodies are some 60% water. So just think, if I say ugly things to you, that changes the water structure inside your body.
So don't, please.
Exactly. Like none of us should, right? When we say, I hate that person, or curse somebody, or just say something that's ugly or just not life-giving, we change the chemical structure of that person. And what we expose ourselves to changes our chemical structure. If we watch a lot of violent TV, that changes our chemical structure. And I've found myself less and less putting myself in environments that are non-congenial to my cell.
Right.
because I can't operate, in darkness, in non-life giving situations, in artificial, like even when we say artificial light, I mean, it's light. It's not the same as sunlight, but like fluorescent lights, I mean, those things give me the heebie-jeebies.
Give me a headache.
Give you a headache. And so those are all non-congenial environments. But we have to think about it. And this is going back to our words, right? What we think,
Powerful.
what we say is what we do, and it changes everything around us.
So do you think if you say, like, I hate George, do you think that affects George or does it affect you? Like, am I changing the structure in my cells by saying that?
That's a beautiful question. And the answer is yes and yes. You're affecting George, but to hate, you have to have hate. You have to acknowledge the hate inside you.
Right.
So it's both. And so anytime you're harming somebody else, you're harming yourself. Anytime we harm somebody else or put anytime we drop that rock, that pebble into the pool, the waves, they go all through the universe. Okay?
So I've been taking the water that I drink in the morning and thinking nice thoughts to it before I drink it.
Beautiful.
I figure, it can't hurt to start the day that way, right?
Oh, it can only help.
Right?
It can only
I
help.
do it for my flowers too.
I have a lot of plants in my apartment, and people come into my space, and I only let a few people into my space, but most people, the first time they come into my space, they go, wow, this is like, I love your space. They don't really even know how to describe it. And it's not the
They feel
pictures
it,
or
don't
the
they?
furniture or anything, but I've got plants that are thriving all over. And sometimes they get a little bit neglected as far as watering and fertilizing and trimming and repotting, okay? But my plants, for the most part, all thrive, okay? That's one of our T-shirts, is here to thrive, not to survive, okay?
Oh, yes. Thriving seems very much in alignment with creating more joy. I like that.
Exactly. And creating more fun.
Yeah, more fun.
More
Yes,
fun.
More
If
fun.
you're really having true fun like a child, childlike fun, then you're joyful, right?
Yeah. Oh, we haven't talked about play, but we'll have to get to that.
We haven't talked about play yet.
So you've got this amazing photo in your book of this very happy guy standing on a snake. Would you like to explain that one?
I would. I love that picture. Can you tell me what page we're on that one so I can look at the picture?
239.
Thank you. We did do a little prep work before we came here, guys, just so everybody knows. So this is, I found this. It was in an old French art book. I believe that's correct. And it's called the Dancing Naga. And I think this is a picture of the god Shiva. Okay. And he is almost dancing on top of this cobra. He's got the cobra's tail in his right hand. He's got a little wand in his left hand. He's got his left foot is on top of the head of the cobra, and his right foot is down on the body of the cobra. And it's got a fluid movement to it. And what it reminds me, or what I believe this is this is the perfect picture of self-mastery, where you're master of your mind, okay? Because your spirit controls your mind, and your mind controls your brain, and your brain controls your body, right? And so if you're not in control of your spirit, you're not in control of your mind, your brain, your body. And so it starts from being in control of your spirit. So obviously, Shiva is in control of his spirit, and the cobra is that kundalini energy, that life force energy that in the spiritual realms they talk about the chakras, and the root chakra being the base chakra. And that energy, and literally when I had my kundalini experience, I could feel that energy running up from my root chakra and up my spine and kind of up out through the top of my crown chakra. I can almost feel it. I can feel it now if I think about it. It makes me quiver a little bit in my spine. But the cobra is the representation of that energy. And we've talked about how we spend our energy, right? Mm-hmm. And Shiva is dancing, balancing on top of this powerful, forceful energy that runs through us, this kundalini energy, or whatever you want to call it, the energy of the divine. And the other thing, and he's happy, he's joyful, he's mastered his emotions, and he's just moving through life in this free flow state. But when I was looking at this the other night, and I've told you this personally, I re-looked at this picture and I realized that his left foot is on the head of the cobra. Mm-hmm. And any time that we want to bridle an animal, control an animal, we put a bridle on him. We put a bridle on a horse, on a camel, on a llama. Doesn't matter what it is. When you bridle the head, you bridle the face and the mouth, that's when you have control, right? And so obviously Shiva has got control of his energy, and it's represented by the cobra. But if our spirit can bridle our mind bridles our brain bridles our tongue, okay? And we become in control of ourselves. And then that's when we get to this laser focus, okay, where we can glide through life. You know, the many gurus have intentionally left their body when they wanted to. Certain gurus can sit on a mountain in the cold naked and not freeze to death. Certain gurus can go days, weeks, months without eating. In the autobiography for a yogi, or autobiography of a yogi, there's a chapter in there where the yogi he hears of this lady who doesn't eat, and he goes way out into the wilderness, I think in India, and he meets this lady, and she cooks food for the village and loves on everybody, but she doesn't eat, okay? And, you know, Jesus talks about being filled with God, not by bread. I don't remember that exact quote. But the Spirit of God is what animates us, and the Spirit of God is what keeps us alive. And the pneuma, the Holy Spirit, pneuma, like being pneumonia, lungs, fills us. Oh, that's something I want to. So we're going to kind of wrap that up. But one of the things that the Buddhists practice is you take a deep breath in, and you just hold that breath for, I don't know, as long as you can, you know, not trying to break any records. Just hold that breath in. And you release it. And then if you realize, are you really breathing in when you're ready to take that breath back in? Or is the universe pushing air into your lungs? And if you hold your breath long enough and then you open your mouth, then the air gets pushed in. It's not even your lungs working. It's the universe, it's spirit pushing air back into your lungs. You can't stop breathing. It's involuntary. So, and it's a good way to think about it. It's a good practice to play with and think about that we're not even in control of our own breath. So
That's interesting.
it's interesting. This is a quick side note. I kind of meant to bring it and then I completely forgot. But I've told you about the little energy balls.
Yes, I went and bought one.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
So you can buy these little energy balls on Amazon or whatever. And basically they're a ping pong ball. And they've got 2 copper strips on the outside. One's like a positive, one's like a negative. And inside, it's got a little eerie UFO type of sound, like and a little light. So if you touch one of your left fingers, like your left index finger, to one of the copper strips, and when you touch your right finger to the copper strip on the other side, the electric current that's running through your body will make this little ping pong ball light up and make this little eerie UFO noise that they've programmed into the circuit, right? Now, if you put a group of 3 people or 20 people or 100 people in a room and they all hold hands, and then 2 people at the end of the circle, one puts their finger on the copper strip, and then as soon as the other person puts their finger on the copper strip, it starts to go off because it completes that circuit. And that is literally the electrical energy that's running through our body all the time. And when you do it, I think everybody ought to go buy one of these things for $5, $6, $7, $8. How much did you pay on Amazon or whatever?
I don't remember. It wasn't much. It was less than 10.
Less than $10. And you can throw this in the drawer. It is such the party thing that brings everybody into realization of how connected we really are.
Yeah, I got my grandson to do it. Totally freaked him out.
It's cool, isn't it?
It's cool.
I was freaked out the first time. And also, if you take metronomes, you can look this up on YouTube. If you take metronomes, like a whole table of them, 10 or 20 of them, and you start them all at different times, and you leave them for a couple minutes, and just go look it up on YouTube, they will come into sync with each other. And there's a term for that, and I don't remember what it is. It's in something.
It's not coming. Entrainment?
Entrainment. That's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
They become entrained. Nice job. So they become entrained with each other. It's proven that people that dance together entrain each other. Okay. It's proven that people that sing in a choir entrain each other, and people that have a better voice will actually bring the voice of the person that's got maybe a lesser quality voice or a different quality voice. Well, lesser and or different will, the choir will come into entrainment with each other.
So you know that concept about you become the 5 people you spend the most time with?
Yes.
Do you think those are related concepts?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody gives off a certain level and vibration. And if you spend a lot of your time with low vibration people, okay, and this is not judgment, okay, but you can tell. I mean, if people are saying negative things all the time, or they're haters, or they're whatever, I mean, that's in general, that's kind of, not say they're low vibrational people, but their actions are creating a vibration that is low, and we all embody some level of vibration. So if you, if you have a coach and a coach is teaching you to master something, they're teaching you to control your body, your mind, whatever, and their vibration, your vibration become in sync. But if you surround yourself with the 5 high vibrational people in an industry, in a spiritual situation, or just as friendships, a rising tide lifts all boats. Okay. But if a rising tide will also, a lowering tide will also lower all boats, right? So that's absolutely a correct thing.
I read something about cells transferring, like, because of the vibration that our cells are constantly vibrating. And like, if you hold hands with somebody and then let go, you're leaving behind, you've exchanged cells
Really?
in the process. So they become a little bit you and you become a little bit them.
That makes
I
sense.
think it's also related to this
yeah.
energy exchange thing.
And nothing, anything that is destroyed is not really destroyed. It's just takes a different form.
Yeah.
Okay. And all of life, we've got a T-shirt, and it's Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And Brahma is creator, Vishnu is protector or maintainer, and Shiva is destroyer, because all of life is creation, maintenance or protection, and deconstruction. In the tarot deck, the tower is usually a negative card, but it's tearing something down. And we're constantly, if we're working on ourselves, we are constantly creating, maintaining, destroying old beliefs, old traumas, old patterns that aren't working, and we're recreating ourselves. We do the same thing in businesses. We do the same thing with our health. We do the same thing with our relationships. People come in and out of our lives. As our vibrations shift, you can no longer stay in that lower vibration. So what happens is, it's kind of sad in a way, but certain people just naturally fall out of your life. Or certain people get naturally attracted to something else where they're going to spend their energy and their time.
That's why we talk about what resonates for you today.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it might be a great idea if you spent a couple minutes talking about your newsletter and your book and how people could get in touch with you, how they can contact you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The name of my book, actually, I don't even like to even say my book anymore. It's our book. Okay. It's a book for everybody that wants to read it, but it's called Awakening to Ourselves. My name is Bill, and my last name is spelled Pautler. And you can go to my website at awakeningtoourselves.com. On the website, you can sign up for my weekly story, which is free. I write a story usually straight out of my life. And then you can also, in those stories, you can also get access to my blog, which I don't even know how to tell you to get to, but maybe we can post that up at the end of this somewhere. And I've got a Facebook page that I've really never been on, but we're posting all my stories and things out there also. So that's the ways to get. And my Sage Life t-shirt is up, but we're not selling t-shirts, but you can look at the t-shirts at sagelife.org.
Cool. And people can buy your book on Amazon too.
Yes, people can buy my book, and hopefully in the next 3 or 4 weeks, my audiobook, Awakening to Ourselves, will be out on audio, and you'll be able to download that and listen to it as an audiobook.
Fabulous.
Okay. Are we about done here?
I think we are. Thank you to everyone for listening.
Yes, thank you to everyone for listening. Let's close in prayer.
All right.
Dear Lord, we just thank you for this time. We thank you for the powerful spirits that we are, and that you will guide all of us to uncover the mud, the adulteration, the trauma, and the healing that have prevented us from seeing ourselves and seeing our true beauty, that we would know that we're always forgiven. So it's appropriate that we forgive ourselves, because that's probably the biggest obstacle. And if we can just uncover ourselves, we can bask in your divinity and operate out of your divinity which is that powerful focused laser, that energy, the peace that surpasses all understanding, and the love that is the agape love, the love that is just looks out for the best interest of ourselves and the best interest of everybody that we come into contact with. A love that is unfiltered, authentic, and pure. And we thank you for this gift. I thank you for everybody that's listening to this, and I appreciate your time way more than you would ever understand. And we thank all our ancestors, all our friends and family, all the ascended masters, the saints, the angels. The angels are always around us to protect us. We can just call on them anytime we want to. Healing angels, protection, angels of protection, angels of guidance. They're all there. You just have to ask. They'll be right there in front of you if you just ask. So, in gratitude for this, we didn't talk about it, but in the divine, when we're in the divine, all we can experience is divinity, which is beautiful. But when we come to this earth, we separate ourselves from the divine, and not fully separate ourselves, but separate ourselves from being in that Garden of Eden, in that perfect basking of the divine. And when we separate ourselves by coming into this realm, into this simulation, we get to experience our divinity through dependence on each other and through tough love and through our emotions and through this physical world of touch and beauty. And so, Lord, we thank you for this. We thank you for this simulation. We thank you for this earth journey. And we remember that we are eternal beings, and that when we take an eternal perspective, that things change. If we can step back and know and pray and put our energy and love into the proper places, we can stay there and have complete forgiveness and no judgment, and watch your universe unfold around us, through us, inside of us, and that everything comes from the Alpha and returns to the Omega. So be it. Amen.